drum, there may not be that much gather that would make a pleat. So we're going to determine that after the drum is tied. And from here, we're going to go to the drum frame and we're going to do the finishing touch on the drum frame, and then we'll be ready to tie our drum. Like I said, I've already taken the piece of skin that has been left over after we cut the hide, and I cut it into lace about an inch to just a little over an inch. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in and put the finishing touches on the rim, and we'll go ahead and we'll tie the big drum heads on the drum. Okay, we are back inside from dealing with our rawhide. We have it cut and we have it punched. So now we're ready to talk about the rim. The rim that we are using is a 28 by 12 inch deep by 28 inch across a powwow drum. And for this drum, I decided to use a light color because it's going to be used in a hot environment. So that's the reason why it's white. What I have done is, in getting it prepared, the shell itself came just raw. So I needed to take two 28-inch inner reinforcement hoops to reinforce, because we're going to put a moderately thick cowhide natural on this. So it's going to create an exertion force in and down to kind of scrunch it. And that's where we're going to get the tightness. So we need reinforcement. In this case, I did 2 reinforcement rings on either end, and I went and bought some local hardware at the local hardware store, and I bought these wooden stakes that will reinforce where the hoops are for the rope on the outside, because we're going to make a stand for this, and we'll show that a little later, and we're going to swing it on a stand. And the only thing I've done to the inside is to coat it with a light urethane spray. And again, I painted the outside white in getting it ready. And there's one last thing that we're going to do before we actually tie the drum, and that is to put a humidity hole in the drum. And it'll be over here opposite where the seams aren't, and the seams come together here and here for the rim, for the reinforcement rings. So we want to make sure that it's all balanced, and we want to make sure that everything's good before we use it. The glue has set up, the paint is dry, and the urethane coat on the inside is just right. So now we are ready to do the last and final measure to get our rim ready, and we have our hides ready. So we're now ready to tie our 28-inch drum. We will drill the humidity hole, that will be the last thing, and then we'll start to lace up our drum. Okay, now we are ready to tie our drum. We have our rawhide lace cut, and we've had it soaking in cold water, just like our drum faces. We now have them punched, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually start tying the drum, and we're going to do the simple tie the way that we did the smaller drum. Just here we're doing it in a larger form factor. So we're gonna go start with a thick set of eye holes where the leather is kind of thick. You don't want to start where it's thin, otherwise you exert a lot of pressure on that side. So we're going to start here where it's thick, and then we're going to proceed around the drum, and then we're going to go back around and hit all the sets that we missed and make our little cross. And then after we do that, we're going to start to tighten the drum before we tie it off. And then after we get that done, then we will evaluate it once we get it all drum tight, and we'll see what adjustments we need to make from there. So that's what we're doing. Here's the end, and I've made sure and detangled all the rest of the hide. So our lace is ready to go, and we're ready to start lacing up the big drum. And it starts off pretty easy when your lace is nice and wet. But what happens is as it goes through the holes actually wring out the water. So in the beginning it's kind of nice, so you want to just keep working with it. And don't keep track of your beginning, otherwise you're going to make a knot. And keep pulling the lace through. And at this point, we don't want to tighten it at all. And it doesn't matter if there's a little bit of water, that's fine. We want to keep it nice and loose. So we're going to go in through the facing side, like through every other set of holes. And then we're going to go around this way. And then as we get to the other side, we're going to come around and turn and go back the other way. I've actually cut more lace than I actually need for this job. So once I go around and get all the holes laced, I'll make a little bit so we can tie off, and then I'll just cut the rest of the lace and save it for another drum. When you start the drum in one direction and going through the holes one way, you don't want to mix it up and go the other way. You're not going to get the uniformity of the drum. So for now, we're just going to keep the lace untwisted as much as we can and loose. And this is how we start it. Kind of seems like as you go along, you don't know what it's going to look like, you don't know what it's going to sound like, but if you kind of adhere to the drum making principles, you should do okay. You'll get a nice good sound out of your drum. So don't get in a hurry with it, and be real patient. It takes it a little while to come together. We've gone around the drum once, and it looks about even. I need to make a couple of adjustments here. So now we're going to turn the lace around and go back and hit all the sets of holes that we missed on the first time. Again, we're going to keep it nice and loose, and we're just going to have enough lace left over to where we can tie off the drum once we have it tight. Okay, we've got our lace all the way around the drum one time, and we're actually starting at this point, and we're going this way. And now that we've come all the way around the drum this way, we've come through these holes, we're going to come straight up and come through this hole, and then we're going to go back and get the sets the other way, making kind of a cross pattern as we go through the drum. And we're going to take up a little bit more slack out of the lace. We're not really going to tighten it, we're just going to put a little more pressure on it so it pulls the drum head a little bit more. In fact, we may need to, I don't know why, but this dark area likes to. And again, we have cut a lot of lace here, but it's better to have more than not enough. Because you don't have, by the time you get through tying the drum, you won't have enough time to soak hide, recut lace, and so it's a real bummer when that happens. So we're going to go through, making sure our lace is not tangled, and we're going to go back the other way. Okay, this is the lace that we have started with, and this is the lace that we ended with. And when we came around the first time, we ended up just going straight up and then turning around and going back. And we ended up here, so we want to take where we finished and where we started and put them together. So what I did was I bent it over and I made a cut with my scissors to make a hole in our beginning lace, and I'll thread it through where we went up and down, and that'll make the final cross as we take the lace that we ended up with and we put it through the hole in the lace. And then that is how we'll tie off the drum, and that makes the final cross. Okay, now we're ready to tie off the drum. We've gone around a couple of times and tightened it up, and I could tighten it up a little bit more, but there's a little bit of stress on the thinner eyelets, so I don't want to tighten any more until I know that they're going to hold. So right now is about tight enough, and the heads will tighten up as they dry. So we're ready to take the beginning piece and the end piece. We've looped through it, and what we're going to do is just tie a couple of slip knots to reinforce that. Going through that cross, and now we're going to go under and do another slip knot. And with this end piece, I'm going to tuck it back under, and there we have our knot. Now we've tied our 28-inch powwow drum, and we have tightened it up and put our final knot in it. We are not through with it yet. We've still got to do some, we still got to do the stand for it, and we still have to make sure that it doesn't untie and that the tension remains nice and tight as it dries. So this is how to do the tying of that, and again, I reiterate, you need to, keep watching it, and you need to put more attention into it, making sure that the eyelets hold and that they're not going to pull out and break. If it does, it's kind of a bummer. We're going to have to start all over. Okay, we have finished tying our 28-inch powwow drum, and we've got it nice and tight. We've knotted it off. We've done everything that we needed to do to it at this point. We need to keep watching it, but we have put it all together. In the next episode, we will explore making a stand for this drum, and I'll go through the steps and show you those. It has been wonderful making this drum. Thank you for watching. This is Sean Little Bear. Ha-ho. Yo, hey, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo.
Yeah, well, Kyle's not here.
How come?
Kicked off the team. Didn't Tim tell you? Kyle and some other kids got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. Zero tolerance. He's out for the season.
Come on, it's a first offense, right?
That we know of. But why should that matter? He knew not to drink. I've made it clear to Matt, that's what we expect from him. What have you said to Tim?
Nothing really. You know, a lot of kids try it at this age, so...
Yeah, well, a lot of kids don't try it too. I'm not saying that Matt's gonna be this perfect kid, but if I don't tell him what we expect and why he shouldn't drink, how's he gonna know?
You think kids that age really listen?
They never admit it, Bill, but they hear more than you think.
Talk. They hear you. For more information about talking with kids about underage drinking, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Haho, da hasahatawana, nuhu hitasinani, na hanana anani, jaaskuta.
Thank you for watching Cheyenne and Arapaho Television.
If you're talking, they will hear you. Every single time.
Oh, we're getting killed.
Yeah, well, Kyle's not here.
How come?
Kicked off the team. Didn't Tim tell you? Kyle and some other kids got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. Zero tolerance. He's out for the season.
Come on, it's a first offense, right?
That we know of. But why should that matter? He knew not to drink. I've made it clear to Matt, that's what we expect from him. What have you said to Tim?
Nothing really. You know, a lot of kids try it at this age, so...
Yeah, well, a lot of kids don't try it too. I'm not saying that Matt's gonna be this perfect kid, but if I don't tell him what we expect and why he shouldn't drink, how's he gonna know?
You think kids that age really listen?
They never admit it, Bill, but they hear more than you think.
Talk. They hear you. For more information about talking with kids about underage drinking, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
I'd like to welcome everybody. My name is Daniel Tallbear. I'm Acting Director for Planning and Development. This project started in 2021 with Sam Riffle, and we're happy to have this building. It's a Tribal Justice Center expansion project.
Today marks more than the opening of a building. It marks a continued commitment to the rule of law, to balanced government, and to the sovereign authority of the Cheyenne and Arapaho Tribes. Our Constitution states that the tribes possess inherent sovereign authority and powers of government by virtue of territorial integrity and democracy.
Tribal leaders, governor, lieutenant governor, our legislators, we have really done a lot of good things for our people, and hopefully we can continue that for the future. I hope.
I'm grateful for the ones that look for the grants to expand the courts, build this new building. We have, as a tribe, come a long way, and it's for the betterment of our people, our children, to protect them. And I just want to say thank you all.
On three, 1, 2, 3.
Tribal Justice Center Phase 2, just like Jason had mentioned, it's about a 17,000 square foot addition to the existing Tribal Justice Center. We've kind of added in some office space. We've got new restrooms that also double as a safe room. We've got a large conference room, which is generally utilized, intended to be utilized by the community.
This building is a testament to the tribe's growth and our prosperity and our future outlook on those services that need to come about for our tribal members.
1, 2. What is this? Hey, we can call.
Our culture is our prevention. Make the right choice.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is round 2 of Sounds of the Powwow Grounds with yours truly, J.R. Lone Lodge. Once again, I'm coming straight from you from Concho, USA. My res, that is my res. Home of the Southern Cheyenne, Southern Arapaho Tribes. And without further ado, I want to thank Hawk Hardigo for doing all the setup, doing all the hard work. I just show up and he does all the work. Kind of works that way. I kind of like that, you know, I'm just the talent and he does all the work. But I'm going to give a shout out to him. He's the one that actually orchestrated this whole fiasco, and actually, you know, he gave me a show, and we're going to do it until we get kicked off, you know, so we'll see what happens. So, but once again, all powwow people out there, all new listeners, thank you for coming in and taking a listen, taking a gander at my new show. We're going to talk about, you know, all things good and great in powwow world. If you got any suggestions, definitely hit me up. Email address is jrlonelodge@gmail.com, or if you can find me on Facebook, if I haven't blocked you, hit me up on there as well. If you got any flyers, send them my way so I can advertise those as well. You know, we got a lot of good powwows coming up. You know, last show we talked about the great Denver March. You know, that was a good show out there. You know, brought back a lot of good memories back in the day. You know, like when I came all the way from Teen Boy Fancy all the way up to men's. Like I said, you know, I've always had a like fun at that powwow. That was always the good one. You know, starting off the powwow season with that big jump at Denver March. After that, you know, it snowballs out to, you know, you got gatherings coming up, then all the other powwows in the summertime. You know, January and July is always a big one too. You know, we got all the big ones, and around September you got the California Coast Circuit. You know, starting off with it usually starts off with, I think, was it Pachanga, and then after that, you know, you have Verona, Saquon, Morongo, all those ones back to back. So powwow season is full step. You know, you guys, you know, just starting out. You know, it's time to get on the treadmill. You know, like I said, get those hackle bustles, dust that dust off of them, get those jingles out. You know, like start, you know, getting all those new dresses done that, you know, you've been putting off for months and months. It's about that time to get the things going. That beadwork that you've been having sitting for a while, and it's time to turn out the TV and get it done. Because, you know, powwow season is getting closer and closer. And the next thing you know, you'll be out there with just the same old stuff. You know, you can't be doing that. You got to come fresh. So, but, you know how we do it in powwow world. But once again, you know, thanks for tuning in to my show up here. You know, like, this show is not about me. This show is actually about everybody else out there. And that's what I'm going to bring back, you know. So all my guests out there, this will be a showcase for you guys, you know, showcase that we can get your voice out there. Any topics you want to bring on, you know, definitely talk about that, you know. And then there's going to be no holds bars. There ain't no restrictions. Ain't no duct tape on the mic. You know, here we go. Which is whatever you guys say, you got to say, you know. And if you guys talk about that one person, you know what I'm talking about. You know that one guy. I ain't mentioning names, but you know who you are. You know, you can even say that. You know, we ain't got no restrictions here. So, but hey, just kidding. I don't want to get too crazy on it like that. But, you know, we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna go jump in right off the bat. I'm gonna start announcing some powwows coming up. You know, see what's going on. So right off the bat, you know, like today, looks like you have the second annual Cheyenne and Arapaho Tribal Youth Powwow. It's the 25th year. The outgoing benefit dance and announcing new royalty today, I guess. Starts March 10th, which is today. Clinton ERC building. Gord dances starts at 3 p.m. Supper at 5. Head staff, you got MC Willie Bullcoming. Head singer got Billy Youngbird, head man dancer Gary Lime, head lady dancer Paula White Buffalo, head little boy dancer is going to be Eli Williams, head little girl is going to be Carolyn Blackwolf, and AD is going to be the Gould Brothers. Invited princess is going to be Cheyenne Senior Labor Day Princess Anna Marie Comacita, OIN Junior Princess Abigail Littleman. So that's going to be going down over there at Clinton ERC building today. So if you didn't do anything, you know, go out there and go check it out. You know, it'd be a good one out there that way. Second up. You know, going through that, you got University of Redlands Powwow Saturday, March 23rd, 2024. University of Redlands grand entry is at 1 p.m. and at 7 p.m. And this one is all the way out there in California, good old California. You know, one thing about it is, you know, I used to live in California, loved it, everything. You know, it's like, man, here in Oklahoma, I can't get good carne asada. You can only get good carne asada in California, man. And it doesn't matter what burrito stand I try out, ain't nothing like California carne asada. But man, if I had some days off, man, I go swing out there, check out that Redlands Powell. I just can't get a good carne asada in Oklahoma. You know, it's all right. It's all right. There's some spots I can get, you know, like a little fix, but man, I miss those burrito stands out that way. Next up, you know, we got one of the guests I'm going to have on here a little bit is Brian Frijo. Just going to announce some of the stuff that he's got going on. He's got his Music is Medicine, Beats, and Blessings tour. 2024, he's going to be up in Tulsa. March 22nd, he'll be up there at the Gypsy Coffee House. After that, he's going to OKC the next day over the Pump Bar after hours, 1 p.m. sunrise. So, and after that, Oklahoma City has got March 30th, East Side Pizza House, a B-Day party. Gary, Oklahoma, he's going to be throwing his beats out that way. Looks like on March 26th over the CNA Opioid Response Gathering. Concho, he's going to be throwing the beats over there. Listen, March 28th. CNA Opioid Response Gathering over there. After that, he shoots over onto Anaheim. I'm thinking this is going to be Anaheim, California, April. And then he's got dates to be announced on that. And then comes right back. Looks like he'll be in Little Rock after that, you know, performing. Mark's always been pretty cool. You know, I always see him at like a lot of the youth functions and stuff. He's got a good voice, and he always talks up, you know, like the kids, and, you know, like lets them know what to expect. And, you know, he's a good role model. I look at that guy. You know, he's been in movies and stuff, and I haven't made it to the movie screens yet, but maybe one of these days he'll throw me a gig. You know, so hopefully if I keep on sponsoring him and throwing these dates out for him, he'll put me in one of his movies or so. Going on from there, you know, we got looks like we got 17th Annual Celebration Education Powwow, the largest intertribal celebration of arts, music, festival, knowledge in North Texas. That's going to be April 6th. April 6th and April 7th. That's going to be the Chisholm Trail Outdoor Museum in Claiborne, Texas. Now, that's going to be down in Texas. Now, I'm a Sooner fan, but, you know, I'll go down there and check it out, stuff like that here and there. And I'm going to admit, you know, I used to actually live in Texas for a little bit. It wasn't, you know, love will make you do dumb things. And that one time I was actually living in Houston, man. I used to catch heck, you know, going to the Walmart with all my OU gear and stuff. And one time, you know, my sister came down, she had a big giant OU sticker on the back of her car, came out of their car, and someone had bent up the back window wiper just because of her OU sticker. But man, I know how OU and Texas kind of get along, you know, so, but we'll see what happens when we go down there. You know, I mean, still got family and friends down there. The Alabama Kashada is out there. I want to give you guys a shout out. Hopefully you guys are tuning in. Thanks for, you know, they always have a good celebration down there too, down in Livingston, Texas. That's always a good powwow. Man, it's hot too, boy. I remember that one time they had that Iron Man special. I remember it was me and Doug Schofield. We had there was an Iron Man special out there, and at first I didn't know it was an Iron Man special, so I thought it was just a regular contest. And you know, usually when I get ready for those, I'm good for about 3 songs, you know. So first song, I'm gonna admit, you know, I kind of coasted through that one. Second song, you know, I was like, all right, it's on. They'll probably call finals, not knowing what the committee or what the family was trying to do. So, you know, I went through it. You know, the second song, I kind of went out, you know, just gave it everything I had, started doing my routine, going through my moves. And then all of a sudden, you know, they call another song. I was like, oh, all right. So I got this one. So, and I kept thinking, all right, after this, we'll probably call finals. I'll get a break, whatnot. So I danced that one hard. I'm like, all right, got that one. And I kind of got that one in the books. And next thing you know, they called another song, and it was a crow hop. And this is a 4th song. So I went, you know, 3 songs back to back, going full throttle, thinking, you know, I was trying to make the finals. And I got halfway through that crow hop. And I don't usually do this, but I was already spent. You know, with the heat down there in Livingston, it gets really hot. And I was like, man, my legs are jelly. And I just couldn't keep up with the crow hop, and I ended up walking off. And next thing you know, like, I guess, Doug Schofield, one of my good bros, he ended up winning that special. And that one of those family members came out and was like, yeah, we were going to pick you, but then you walked off. And so, but yeah, I just couldn't hang. I couldn't hang just because like I didn't know how they were running that powwow. If I would have known, me, I would have probably kind of put on cruise control those other songs. But I kind of went off, and man, I had to take a bunch of water and kind of chill out for a minute because I ended up burning myself out that fourth song. But yeah, that was a good time down at Livingston. But going back and forth, we got another good one out here. Going down in September 4th, 5th, and 6th, the infamous Barefoot Powwow, all the way in Canton, Oklahoma. Now, I've had some good memories of this one. I think I might have been 16, and this was before, I went to the Marines. I was actually in high school. They had a men's fancy special for $500, and I was 16. This was like big money. I trained all like weeks before that running, and I think I was, running a lot. I think it was probably my 6 miles a day or so. Got up to the Barefoot, and, I jammed out, and it became a tie between one of my late uncles, like the Doyle Loan Lodge, so we tied off and stuff and whatnot. And then I ended up getting it. And I never had that kind of money before. I had $500, man. I thought I was king, guy. I thought I was like, it was on after that. So, but that was a pretty good memory out there. I've always loved that powwow, and I'd heard a long time ago back in, the 50s, there used to be a huge powwow, way back there. And if you can't find it, it's a hard part because, if you've never been there, you can get lost. Even if I've been there, there's sometimes I'm like, man, is that turn? Is that turn? But yeah, Barefoot, it's always been a good powwow. I like that powwow. It's way out there. I had some good memories out there. But that one will be coming up September 4th, 5th, and 6th and stuff. So also, let me jump on my phone. I got a couple other ones that people want me to announce. So if you got flyers, send them to me. That way I can, kind of shoot from the hip, kind of what I'm doing now. And, that way I can, kind of go back and forth. Looks like All Nations Rescovery Gourd Clan Saturday, April 27th and 27th, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. Give Miles ERC, Gary, Oklahoma. Come celebrate recovery benefit dance. Your head singer is going to be O.T. Sankey. Head man's going to be Isaac Rhodes. Head lady dance is going to be Janet Bullcoming. Head little boy is going to be Davin Darren Echo Hawk. Head lady girl is going to be Hamea Reeder. AD is going to be Marshall Williams. MC is going to be Billy Youngberg. Also, honored elder is going to be Kathy Shawnee. Honored veteran is going to be Brian Fielder. So that'll be going down, Saturday, April 27th from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. So come on, check that one out there in, Gary, Oklahoma again. Yeah, all right. Also... Excuse me. We also have a gourd dance, honor gourd dance for Linda Francis. That's going to be March 23rd. This one is going to be at the OM Culture Building out there in Red Rock, Oklahoma. So the head staff. Head gourd dancer is going to be Eric Payne. Head lady dancer is going to be Dawn Buffalo Head. Head singer is going to be Sydney Topaw. MC is going to be none other than the John Artikita, Uncle John. Oh, Hall. This is going to be a good one. AD is going to be George Alexander himself, the legendary world champion George Alexander. Water carrier is going to be Ezekiel Lynch. So schedule is going to go like this. Gourd dance is going to start at 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., 5:30. And the supper break's going to be 5:30 to 7. And then from there, 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, all night gourd dance. Hall, shaking them gourds. Let's be keen. So that's going to be an honored gourd dance for Linda Francis around that time up there in Oto Country. Hall. That's going to be a good one out there. So, without further ado, that was all my powwow flyers. Like I said, if you got anything for me to announce, definitely hit me up on Facebook or send me an email, jrloanlaunch@gmail.com. Send me all your powwow flyers or what you got coming on. I even got hit up the other day, might have this guy on. He's actually doing a movie. So I might get into that down the road. He's looking for Native American actors and, so maybe I can actually help him out, kind of put him on blast and stuff like that and help him out on that way. So without a doubt, kind of going to the show, we're gonna actually call one of my guests up here. This guy, me and him have pretty good history. The cool thing is I've danced in this circle for so many years that I get to meet all these people, travel with people, and sometimes I always get to make new friends and make new family. I consider this guy one of my older brothers. We've danced in a circle for so many years. I've always looked up to him. We even though we were competitive, we've always been respectful of each other. I've always respected his style and stuff. And, there was times that, we battled and we've always had that good camaraderie. And, sometimes you don't always get that in Powwow world. Sometimes, you shake hands, you didn't really mean it. Eh? But, this guy, I really didn't mean it. This guy was always cool to touch and like, all right, bro, hey, good times, good battles. And going to be honest, we and him, we've tied off a couple of times. So it was always epic battles. And, it didn't matter who won, we were always happy. Whoever won, I was proud of him. If he won, if I won, he was actually, happy and actually congratulated me just like the same. So I'm actually going to give him a shout out, see if I can give him a holler. Let's see if he answers his phone. So bear with me. I'm still working on this new technology. And like I said, I'm not used to all this cool stuff that we got. This is kind of spoiling me, because we just like have to put the phone up to the microphone. Now everything's Bluetooth and stuff. So let me see if he's up.
This George.
Oh, what's up, big brother? This is J.R. Lone Large here on Sounds of the Powwow Grounds. How you doing today?
Oh man, I'm feeling great, man. How you doing?
That's what's up, man. I was just kind of doing a little intro, talking about all the battles, like me and you've had and stuff like that. Just going around Powwow world and stuff. George comes all the way from the Oto, Missouri, Iowa tribe. All the way, he is based out up there in Oklahoma, up there in Red Rock, isn't that right?
Ponca City.
Ponca City. There you go.
Ponca. I did grow up in Red Rock though, growing up. So yeah, I kind of both. I go both places. Red Rock, Ponca City.
Yeah, that's keen, man. And you've been dancing in the circle for a long time. I'm going to be honest with you. When I was a kid, like you used to have that men's fancy Champions of Champions at Red Earth. There was a spotlight out there. I was just a young guy. I remember I used to put my bustles up, and when that spotlight came out, I was right there on the sidelines watching you guys. And I'm gonna admit, I used to steal some moves here and there. I used to go practice them and stuff, and that's kind of how you emulated my style. It's like, I took a lot of, pieces from there, from the great ones, like Billy McCullen, and also, you, of course, RG. But back in the day, man, you around your time, that was the epic battles. I mean, those guys were all legends,
Yeah.
And to go to the, Ponca Powwow, to go to Red Earth, to go to, Indian Fair. You also had Randy Moore out there, even Stroud, man. Stroud was wicked because, it was all the best of best.
Yeah, every year it was, yeah.
Oh, yeah, on that Peoria one, too. Yeah, and that Peoria one, too, up there. That was a good one, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they got good powwows up at northeastern Oklahoma. Yeah,
I remember, man, and it was whoever won. It was just like epic, and it was like, oh snap, because it was epic battles here and there. But and man, you're just gonna talk about some things and stuff like that. Kind of going through it. I kind of mentioned, like you were kind of an influence on me, kind of work on my steps and stuff. When we first started getting in powwows, who was something that or who actually helped you and actually kind of the style that you kind of gravitated to?
Wow, that's I get asked that question a lot. Man, there was a lot of the guys, a lot of older gentlemen that I looked up to, and I mean, you didn't just look at. I mean, back when I was growing up, it just had straight, fancy buckskin cloth. That's how it was in Oklahoma back in the 70s and 80s. Until they started getting the guys coming bringing down the grass dance, and of course traditional dance was already here. That was kind of already being introduced, and so it was strictly Southern. But yeah, a lot of I would even look up to some of the straight dancers. We had some good straight dancers here in Oklahoma. A lot of legends that we still talk about today. And,
oh yeah. Man,
there's so many names, man. If I could just rattle some off them rattle some off the dome. Some of the ones I seen, especially some of the legends. I'm talking about like Johnny White Cloud and Larry Daylight, Pee Wee Clark, of course. Around here, had a family of brothers. Their last name were Colsims, and they had some good moves, and there were some deadly dancers. And it was 4 brothers, and with some good dancers around here, and a lot of other ones around. Junior Kent, Don Murray. A lot of the people that are close around here. And then, of course, when you went over to Tulsa, you got to Oklahoma City, you kind of expanded out, and I just pretty much watched everybody, Mike Pasatopa, Vincent Pocowatchit. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Man, there's a good, I can see the bustles in there. Everything's it's just a whirlwind of bustles I'm looking at right now when you ask me what I really, RG, of course, Billy McClellan, Joe Boynton, man, you can't leave those. Can't leave the Akaboo, man, Randy, Pete Moore, man.
Yeah.
There's so many you could draw from, and that is pretty much what I did. I just like watching all of them and get because back then you could tell. You could tell who. If you had a silhouette of one dancer, just a silhouette, just a shadow, you could tell who that was dancing.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be. You could exactly tell who it was.
Yeah, everyone had their own
with their outfit.
Yeah, so everyone had their own specific style. I remember when I was 5. I actually got the opportunity. This is crazy. This is kind of a crazy story. It just kind of dawned on me. I got to actually dance at the Oklahoma State Fair, and then they used to have that wooden fort.
Yeah.
And, this was a long time ago, guy. And,
I remember that. I've never danced down there in that, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I was 5 years old, and here I thought I was, big guy, because, I got to dance there all week, and they would just pay me in ride tickets, and they're like, I was 5 and 5 or 6. And, that day it was kind of crazy because, my mom left me with my grandpa, and my grandpa actually had a stand out there. He was selling his jewelry in that fort. But, they got me on there on that show. And I did, I learned to know who he was later on, but it was actually a Wuji Wachiteka.
Yeah.
And what happened is, they kind of, they had me as one of their showcase, but the way they did it is, they kind of put me out front, like that first part, and they're like, started talking about that men's war dancer, that fancy dance, and they're like, kind of talk about this will be the future of fancy war dancing. I got to go out around, just do my little thing and whatnot. And next thing you know, they brought, someone else out, and so this is current world champion. I apologize, I don't remember who it was. And he went out there and danced one, like a couple push-ups. And then next thing you know, and this is Wuji Watchtaker, and he's been world champion before. And it was crazy, the late great Wuji walked out there. And I can specifically remember this, he would dance, and, the very guy before him, he was current, and, he was doing all these moves and whatnot, and, doing all these tricks and stuff. Would you come out there with that strut? And he would just come out there, and next thing you know, the whole crowd,
a good word.
The whole crowd would be up on their feet. He would actually get standing elevation, and he would made you like it. He had that rocker going and had those elbows out, and it was keen. And I never could feel like, he can make that whole crowd watch you, and make you like it and stuff. That was pretty keen,
Talking about. Yeah.
And nowadays it's a little different. You see these dancers that jump around and spin around and stuff, but he had that I guess that showman touch that it could actually put it out there and make you watch him and make you like it and stuff. So
yeah, I exactly know what you're talking about. Yeah.
There's not a lot of dancers that can pull that off these days, so
not a strut.
Yeah.
You described it pretty good. Yeah, it was head man dancer. He was head man dancer in Holdenville, Oklahoma. Oh, dang, man. I can't remember the year. It might have been 91-ish, somewhere in that area, maybe 90, somewhere in that area. Oh, man. He was head man down there. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Really RG, man. It was just one little one-dayer. And then little one-dayers in Oklahoma, back then, man, that was the king,
Yeah.
Because they didn't have one-dayers. It was either 3-day powwow or something,
Yeah,
one day, and everybody was there. He was the head man. He came in grand entry, leading us all in, and yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just like you're just saying right now. Yeah, he was just doing his thing. I mean, it wasn't nothing fancy, but it was just freaking Dang.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you couldn't take your eyes off him. Like, damn, how's he doing that? And it's like, I mean, it just make it look good with that strut, So, but that was back in the day, before Powell's actually had all this, grand entry and like points and whatnot. You could just show up and just jam, So. And then, and then they kind of caught on that, you could bounce from Powell to Powell, like hit this Powell, hit that Powell.
Yeah, 2, 3 in one weekend. You used to do that in Oklahoma, back, and then we all did,
Yeah. So, I just kind of touch base with you, like I said, like that was coming up, I got that experience to, sit there on the sidelines and watch you guys, you guys were, like everyone else had heroes and stuff like that. All my heroes came from the Powell circle, everyone, my heroes had rockers and, bustles and stuff. And that's, that's kind of like, I picked apart, this and tried this and did this. And it's crazy because, even now I tell my daughter is like, I used to come home from school and I used to put that VHS tape and she's like, what's a VHS tape? And I was like, put that in and I just watch over and over and over. And then I'd burn up that VHS tape and I'm like, God, dogs, now she's got YouTube, but it's like, I used to practice in my front room
man,
all the
that's
time.
Great. I love YouTube. That's how I stay up on everything. I just want to tell these what's going on now. So I kind of stay up and see what everybody's doing, what all these young bucks are doing.
Yeah. And they're getting fast.
It's awesome.
I love it. It's just the evolution of powwow dancing. You just get to sit back and watch it.
Everything's evolving to what they are right now, and I appreciate it. I love it. It's awesome. Just watching these young bucks do their thing.
Now, also, I'm gonna kind of throw this out there. You have your significant other, Renee. Like she's always close to my heart. I was gonna ask. She's always helping you out, training and stuff like that. Like,
oh yeah.
I was always wondering what ask you some kind of those hard hitting questions. Hey, has Renee ever got on to you for missing a song?
Oh wow. Well, man. I'm not gonna sit here and say, I didn't miss any. I missed plenty.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not enough to where if I have to honestly say, if I did miss one, she would be looking at me like,
you get no water.
I just get that look,
Yeah, you get no water.
I know it. Yeah, no water.
Get back to the truck. What the heck was that?
The look. Give me that look. Give me that. Are you serious? Honestly, really, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Something that kind of happened back when all our southern drums were going north. All our keen southern drums, they go up north to Canada and travel all around. As keen. And but when they come back to Oklahoma, like say Red Earth, and when they come back, they had keen fancy dance songs, but they would never sing them here. They would sing them up north.
Right.
So when everybody was here for Red Earth, and all the northern guys, they already heard that song and knew it.
Yeah.
Well, here we are, Southern boys. We're all looking out here like we're directing traffic. We're not even stopping on time. Northern relatives and brothers are all stopping on time. I was like, dang, guys, even got on to a couple of them. I said, hey, man, what are you doing? Let's let Southern guys know these songs before you start breaking them out in Oklahoma.
Yeah. No love on that one.
Give us a little heads up. Hey, making us look bad. Meantime, they're looking good. I mean, the drummers, of course, the singers.
Yeah.
Just a little side note, I had to throw that in there, but yeah, for real, it was like that there for a while. And appreciated them going out there rocking and winning some contests. Some of our best drums, go up north. Dang, they'd be coming back singing them songs they sang out north, and we didn't know when they stopped. We had no idea.
Yeah.
I got to pass on that one.
Okay, all right. Maybe call Renee.
Yeah. You can call her. You can verify.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, I swear to God, I don't know that song.
Right.
It. So pulling up a flyer. Look, they was in Canada 2 weeks ago. Look, see.
Right. That's my excuse. That's for real.
It's not mine.
So in all your world travels, you gone like a lot of places like myself and stuff like that, and dance is taking you so many spots. What is your favorite spot? What is your favorite good memory? What's your favorite point that you're like, hey, that was the time I shined on that one?
Oh man, that's a real good question. I've got asked a couple of times, and man, the only response I got to that, man, is just everywhere, just I guess like any other dancer that really enjoys and loves being around your friends and drum and going to new places, you know, as long as that spirit's there and dancing, you know, really, I really don't have a favorite place, really, honestly. I really don't. It's just being there with everybody and laughing and teasing, you know how we all carry on and stuff.
Yeah.
Terrorize. We terrorize the clock dancers. We terrorize jingle dresser. Terrorize everybody. It ain't just a fancy dance thing. It's just good seeing all the aunties and uncles, you know, that didn't know they was going to be there. You know, you might have talked to them during the week. No, I don't think I'm going to make it. You know, and they're sitting right there ringside. Hey, what's up, uncle? You know, what's up? You know.
Yeah.
Or you ain't seen an uncle from Montana in a long time, you know, and you finally see him. Anywhere you go, you know, it's just eye-opening. Really, it's eye-opening to go, and it's heartwarming too to go somewhere, and especially when I didn't travel much, you know, when I was I will get to that later, but just being anywhere really, no matter what arena it was, whether it be in gathering, whether it be in Montana, whether it be in New York or Florida, California, it just. You know, the spirit's still there, and it's the drums are going to bring it no matter what.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It was always anywhere that you can get out and put your outfit on and feel good and laugh with people and talk and then just go out and compete a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of hate each other for about a minute and a half, you know, but when you come out of there, you're shaking hands, you know, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I say, man, that's me and my bros used to do that growing up. I'm going to beat you this week. You got me last week. No, it ain't happening this week. Oh, man, I got you.
I'm dancing in front of you the entire time.
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off in front of this judge. Whenever you're dancing, I'm gonna come over and cut you off. Man, it was evil like that back in the day.
Yeah.
I could name some names, but
don't put it out there.
I could name some names, but they would know. They would know.
You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are if you're out here listening. Yeah, we used to play around like that. I mean, we used to get along real good in Oklahoma like that. You know, tease each other and there'll be no fights or anything. Be real hard teasing though, you know.
Yeah.
Next weekend we'll be just glad to see each other. Hey.
Yeah.
Round 4, whatever it is, you know, whatever weekend we were in the summertime, you know, wait, let's do it again, you know.
Yeah. Remember last weekend when I beat you?
yeah. Honestly, that's how it'd be, you know.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to beat you again, guys. Shoot. Better get your aunties and uncles to judge you. Nobody's going to beat me, you know.
That's funny. But
good times.
So, you know, I know, you know, from watching and always knowing you and stuff like that, you know, you have always been the Ponkapaw that's, you know, a pinnacle for Southern men's fancy war dance. And a lot of you like singers and dancers, you know, that is the hiatus, you know, like Southern men's fancy war dance. And, you know, you had the opportunity to compete there and, you know, participate so many years and stuff. I'm going to throw that other hard question out there. So how many titles do you hold on that one?
Oh, wow. Before I get to that, I'd like to expand a little bit on that one.
Sure.
I remember when I was growing up, Indian Fair, Anadarko used to be the week of Ponkapaw there for a long time. So it was always a big thing to go down to the Indian Fair, and because it was just Monday through Saturday. Of course, Ponka, all you had to do was show up. Ponkas has always had that same rule, just show up. And, you know, I wish some of these powwows would do that. Just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up. You know, if you got it, bring it. Show up. That's what the Ponkas do. Come on. I mean, everybody, to this day, this past year, you know, there's no registration. Just show up. So I always thought that was kind of like a flex, you know. We didn't have that word back in the day, but, you know, still, I mean, you got something, back it up.
Yeah.
You think you can dance? Well, just show up right here. So, yeah, it used to be it was real exciting because you go to the Indian Fair, and if you wasn't able to make it to the Indian Fair, you know, there was no social media back then, no phones, no nothing. So you kind of had to wait till the first person that got there from the Indian Fair Sunday night to see who won. You know, who won. So whoever won at the Indian Fair was pretty much the favorite to win at Ponka.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it was just exciting. You couldn't wait. You walked there, and anybody come in yet? You know, we were all us bros. We walking around, us little guys. We walking. Who won? You know, finally get word. Okay, all right, it's gonna be good. Who else won? You know.
Yeah.
Just setting it up like that. You know. So, well, you know, times change. You know, and it's not the same weekend of, but I know they still have a lot of. They really we organized that Indian fair, and it's not like it used to be, you know. Things like that usually aren't going to be like it used to be, you know. It used to be real fun. They had that fair, and horse races, greyhound races, you know, stuff like that, you know. It was a whole week-long big keen parade. Man, parades were keen back then downtown Anadarko. Dodge, you know, we call it Dodge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was awesome to watch the parade. You know, we'd always go down and watch the parade when I was little. Stay down there with my Oto family, down in my Homeratha family. And shoot, it was keen being down there all week and shoot and be there. But yeah, it was just waiting to hear who won. Once Ponca Powwow started, you know, Sunday night, everybody, you know, everybody come in, all the band, straight dancers, fancy dancers, you know. And so, dang, it was just a awesome feeling that to be a part of that, man. I wanted to be in it. I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be in it. I wanted to be a champion like some of them guys that I've seen come up, and you know, I've seen a lot of good champions come in and out. But I'm like, geez. So of course, Bill McCullough, RG, you know, and man, them guys was shoot, some of them other guys growing up, you know, Pee Wee Clark, of course, you know, Johnny White Cloud, man, Larry Daylight, and to rest in peace, you know, he passed away not too long ago.
Yeah.
No, I got to talk with him a lot, and dang, the year I was born was last time he won, you know. He was a damn good dancer. Shoot, it was just awesome just to be a part of that. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. And when we get back to the person that kind of influenced me, you know, the one I really, really watched was Billy McClellan. That was the one I liked to. My family said, "Watch him. That's the one right there."
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, a lot of my age was watching him too. You know, and got a lot of bros, and shoot, he was you know, just so smooth. And
he had that keen rocker that was just jammed too. Yeah.
And it took me a couple tries to finally get that rocker, and I got it.
Oh no, you're supposed to make me one. I'm still waiting on it.
It took me a while. It took me a while to get it, and I finally figured it out. There's several secrets in there. You know, anybody can put wires and wooden dowel together, but you know, to make the intricate logistics of it, it's crazy.
It's a science.
So, yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
And, to make it go and bounce when you don't want it to bounce, that's what you want.
Yeah. Well, going back to it, you know, talking about, you know, that world champion, you know, like, you know, I had a moment, you know, in my life, you know, where I was at a big powwow, and the crazy part was, you know, I didn't even expect to go to this powwow. I had a deaf in the family and stuff like that, and I kind of was straying away. And this deaf day, you know, kind of took me kind of hard and stuff. So, you know, I was beyond myself, you know, for about a couple of weeks or so. And then this powwow came up. And one of my powwow sisters like, hey, you know, talk to my mom. And it's like, hey, I want to take him to the powwow out there in Connecticut. And my mom was like, take him. Because, you know, I wouldn't, you know, like in my right spot. And it's like, hey, you know, his sister's going to pick you up and take you to the powwow. I was like, nah, I don't want to go. And it's like, no, you're going. And I was like, I don't want to go. So I walked out there, you know, I kind of bummed out, you know, all the way up there, helped drive and stuff, but I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't getting it, you know. And so, but, you know, one thing about dance, you know, once you walk in that arena, things change, you know, you get that feeling. And, you know, I walked outside, you know, that, you know, building, and I looked up and, you know, and I kind of talked to that person, you know, and I was like, hey, just me and you out here, let's do this. And so walked in there, got a little more confident, started dancing and stuff. And I ended up winning that powwow. And, you know, it was probably one of the greatest accomplishments of my life, you know, and that, you know, kind of put me on the map and stuff. You know, kind of want to touch bases, you know, how did you feel when you first won that first one?
Oh, man, I think I was crying, really, honestly, because, I mean, it was so much part of my life. I watched it. I mean, I kept stats on it. I mean, I wish I would have had them stats from junior high when I was writing them down and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I could have been ESPN sideline reporter at that time, you know, just recording live from the arena, White Eagle Park, you know.
Yeah.
But shoot, after all that time, and you know, I did several times, you know, before I even got in the finals. You know? I mean, back then the competition was tough.
You ain't lying.
I was growing up, and when I was growing up in juniors, even in juniors, you know, we had 3 groups of juniors in fancy dance at one time in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know, 3 groups minimum, you know, at least minimum 2 or 3. You know, we had that many fancy dancers in Oklahoma at one time.
Yeah, and that
the competition was tough.
Yeah. And I kind of
stuffs up for $10.
Yeah, and the crazy part is, nowadays, like not to say it's dying out. There is a lot of up and coming fancy dancers here in Oklahoma, but it's not like even when I was young. When I was in Teen Boy Fancy, I can tell you exactly who I battled every single weekend. It was, and the crazy thing is, I was 1 year younger than all these guys.
I think I have an idea who you did.
Yeah. I was 1 year younger than all these guys. And I was like, man, I was battling out just to get a sniff, maybe hopefully a fourth if they had fourth, hopefully a third,
Yeah.
And then
you just wanted to get final.
Yeah.
Really honest. You just wanted to make the finals.
Yeah. And then that 1 year, they were all 1 year older than me. They all had to bump up in men's. I had it. I had Team Boy Fancy. I was on. Boy. I won Potawatomi. I won Denver March. I won Red Earth.
Once everybody moved up, it was all right.
I was probably I had the best shoes every week in high school.
That's it. Well, I mean, it's kind of like what I seen an interview with Woodsy, on YouTube. It's what he even said. He goes, after Gus McDonald got old, well, that's when I got to win.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same thing. When we all get old, well, now it's my turn.
Right.
I'm try to make it my turn.
Well, shoot,
I could see that. So.
Yeah, well, shoot, going back to it, you can kind of see the dichotomy of Powell's back when we were around and stuff, and kind of what the Powell's currently are going. And the cool thing is, you're on head staff, you get to see this kind of stuff here and there. What's something that you kind of want to bring back to the Powell world from the old days?
Oh man. That's another good question, man. You hit me hard today.
Putting you on blast.
Yeah, I know. Well, just shoot, man. As things have evolved, we're always evolving. This is the culture. We're always evolving. And man, there's back then there were simpler times. Man, I wouldn't really change anything because everything's evolving to where we are right now. There's a lot of customs we've lost along the way due to elders. Maybe didn't pass it on to what they needed to. Or certain protocols that maybe we might have lost, that we might have seen at one time, when we were growing up. But man, honestly, I'm content with the way everything's going on right now, even with our Oklahoma powwows. Things evolve the way they have, and the way I believe we're in a good state we are right now.
Yeah.
Man, this just popped in my mind just now because I was just talking this over with another dancer about a month ago, and we were just talking about things. And I guess there's one thing if I wanted to bring back was the old dirt arena at Ponca Powwow.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, you talk to anybody, RG, Joe B, talk to anybody, man. That was the best surface to dance on. And I mean, there's a certain way you got to water it where it ain't so dusty.
Yeah.
And I understand that's why they probably did it. It got a little but it only got dusty during two-step and intertribals.
Yeah.
During fancy dance, it really didn't get that dusty. I don't know what but they got a nice little ground. No disrespect to the Ponca people and what they did to the arena, but man, that dirt arena they had at Ponca Powwow was the best surface.
Yeah, because
other than maybe what the Cherokees have over there right now with that putting green for the whole arena.
Yeah,
you've seen that, right?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, and that's one thing.
Man, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, and there's so many different powwow venues. The grass, the indoor powwows, outdoor powwows. I mean, shoot, I know me and you, we danced on both. And heck, we've danced on potholes if we had to. But I remember specifically.
Some good shots on them ankles, man.
Yeah, and one time, this was when I was coming up, and I was just a nobody. I was just one of those little Reds kids, just jumping up in men's for no reason. That one time, me and you actually tied off in Bartlesville, and this is on concrete. And I'm gonna be honest, big brother. You know, it's like when I got my name called for Ty, I looked at my mom. I was like, I was like, oh no, all right. She said, go out there. I was like, man, I was all right. I gave him my hell. I know you beat me, but you know, it's like I was scared the entire time. I was trying to dance away from him. I was like, all right, I'm just, you know, back then, you know, I didn't have my whole sequence, you know, down yet, you know, so just doing what I could, you know. But that was the very first time we ever tied off, and I thought I actually tied off with him. And all the way home, I was like, I tied off. I didn't even care that I didn't lose.
Well, I know your feeling. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, all the gentlemen I spoke to, every single one of them, you know, I tied off with them, and yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
And I still remember. That's the best part of the dancing. You can remember your first time that you did danced off against maybe the one you looked up to, or someone you admired, or someone that really respects you, and they respected you back.
Yeah,
that's the best part of it. You know?
And that's a good thing to put out there for all those up and coming dancers and stuff. Don't be scared. You know, like you won't be a world champion unless you dance against world champions, and don't be afraid to, you know, hey, it's time to battle. Let's bang. You know, so. So let me ask you this. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Let me ask you this. You know, I've always, you know, of course, all the way through and whatnot, you know, I've always, you know, and I even asked a while back and stuff. So where's those iconic eagle bustles at? I've always seen you in and stuff like that. Are they still hanging up, or where they at?
Oh, no, they're still hanging up, and actually they're hanging up and covered up, and they're still ready to go if I need them. I know they probably need to be cleaned up and straightened, but it's been a while since I've danced with them.
Yeah, those are iconic.
I haven't danced since 2018.
Now,
really, honestly, I haven't. And they're still there. I might bust them out sometime.
They're in a glass case that says "break" in emergency.
Yeah,
for real.
I still have them, and they're still good to go. And like I said, they just probably need to be straightened out, and cleaned up, and they'll be good to go. They're still good.
The origin from those ones, you straighten those ones out and stuff like that, and then you did the horsehair on the tips and stuff, or is that how you? Yeah, okay, gotcha. Because I see a lot of people, you know,
Yeah, if you look at them real close though, there's a little, maybe 1/8 galvanized little wire all the way up the stem that gave them durability.
Yeah, okay.
And if you will, bounce.
Yeah, because a lot of people use those dowel rods, and sometimes they'll just be stiff.
Yeah. No, and wooden dowel rods don't. No, you got to have a little bit of bounce, and that's why I use wire on them. They do, and if they do, like you get a little young one run into your bustles, you know, it kind of messes them up sometimes.
Yeah.
These have just bent.
Yeah.
Because I used a special glue that all along that stem, and they're still sticking together as of this day, and they're probably over 15.
Is that glue like trade secret? Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think what glue I used.
It's so good, I don't remember.
I can't remember. I think it was. I want to say right now it's contact cement.
Oh yeah, okay.
Contact cement, the old kind with the, you got to look in the way back of the hardware store for that. I don't even know they make it. It's probably got lead and stuff in it. You know, that's probably why it's still hanging on.
Right. That's the good stuff, eh?
Yeah, that's the good stuff. It'll kill you, but it's good.
You look keen, though. You look real keen.
It still looks good, though. Yeah, but it does give you extra bounce on your horsehair and stuff. You know, really, it really does.
Well, that's keen to know because, like I said, a lot of people use those dowel rods and stuff like that. Even me personally, that's what I've used in the past and stuff. So, kind of putting those secrets out there.
It's galvanized wire, galvanized wire all the way from the bottom now, and all the way to the tip, and then actually the horsehair is tied on to the wire.
Yeah. And I saw you kind of trimmed it at the tip and stuff too. So
yeah, and then you trim it and get a little extra bounce action, and so yeah, that's kind of where that came from. That's what I did.
So let me ask you this.
It'll still work now.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask this. Being a world champion, what you up to these days? You got what you been doing and stuff. So.
Man, like I mentioned earlier, 2018, I haven't really danced, and just kind of retired retired from that UPS truck for 30 years. I was worked in the white man's world for 30 years in that UPS truck, jumping in and out and delivering packages to all my customers. And when I was working, I'd still be going to powwows. Of course, here in Oklahoma, when I'd have vacation time, we'd take off to Montana, California, Florida, go to these big powwows. Salamanca, we've been up there a couple of times. And when I had vacation time, take off and go. Of course, I was kind of bound by my work because I couldn't go very far. Couldn't keep going. I just kind of hit and miss. I go here for a weekend and come back, and might come back another month or two and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I've been retired 30 years. United Parcel Service driver, Teamsters, local 516. Had to throw that in there because I get a pension check every month. So that's kind of why I'm sitting around doing nothing. And that's why I mentioned earlier, I thought I'd be hitting harder, hitting the circuit harder, because my love is there. But, we went through the pandemic and stuff. We had a lot of deaths in my family. My family was one of the ones affected by the pandemic. And after that, after everything started opening up, well, the hits kept coming. My son Charles passed, and then we had a couple other deaths in there that were family related. So we just been kind of hanging back, but the itch is coming back. So
that's good to hear,
I want to
man.
get out there and kind of step around. I'm still young. I can kind of get out there and kind of move around anyway.
I still think of you as a threat too. So I know.
No, I'm no threat no more.
I know. Shoot.
I'll give you a run for your money. How about that? I'll make you dance hard. That's what I want.
I'll still be scared.
If I can make you dance harder, okay, I've done my job. I'm good. If I win or not, okay, cool. If I don't, hey, I'm good. So that's always been my MO. If I can make you dance harder from out there, hey, I did my job.
Heck yeah, and you always did. Like I say, me and you, we've kind of gone back and forth. Had some epic battles. I think we had that one at Otto, and there was this raining in the background, and I guess someone had a video, and they're like, "Yeah, when you guys are dancing, there's thunderbolts, and it hit right around those downbeats." And I was like, damn, that'd be wicked. I wish I could check that out, but I never got a hold of that video.
Man, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that was a good battle out there. But yeah, man, it's always
awesome.
Yeah, it's always been a pleasure to share that arena with you and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Going back to that, what you got plans? What kind of powwow gigs you got coming up these days?
Oh wow, let's see. I got a couple of flyers. I don't know if you received them or not. I sent them to you earlier.
Yeah, I got those ones.
Okay, if you want to read those off here in a little bit, that's fine.
Yeah, I already did.
I got a couple of those coming up. My aunt Kathy, she's a Homeratha, and she's one of the honored elders out there at the CNA at that dance in April. So I'll be heading out there and supporting my aunt. I think before that, there's another one in March 23rd from my Oto aunt. That's I got my Homeratha aunt is the one in Gary, and this is my Oto aunt here in Oto, and I'll be arena director down there for her honor dance. It started out as a birthday dance, but she turned it into an honor dance. So
that's key.
I'll be there March 23rd, and, help out my auntie, and be down in April. Go down to Gary and help my Homeratha auntie out. I'm pretty clear the rest of the year, other than me and my wife help the Miami tribe run their powwow in June 28th and 29th. And of course, you're going to be there and help us out with the AD duties.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's a good one,
Yeah, I want to invite everybody to come on up to Miami June 28th and 29th. We always have a good little laid back powwow. And, no, we don't overdance you. We just want you to come out and dance. And we got pretty good little prize money for just a 2-day powwow. I believe it's $700, $500, $300.
Ooh.
Our golden ages aren't split up individually, but at least we got fancy and grass together, and I think traditional and straight together. And of course the women is cloth and buckskin and jingle and fancy shawl. So kind of give them a little split up anyway, So I know a lot of our golden ages are still jamming, and that's good, because back when we was young, 35 was old, 40 was old, back when I was all young.
Yeah.
We didn't have all these, our golden agers weren't dancing that much, when I was growing up. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. We're all living longer, we're all being young, which is good. We all want to find that fountain of youth. I think our dancing makes us young too. So
yeah, I had one of my announcer buddies. He was mentioning that. He said, they got Golden Age, and they got Senior Golden Age, and now they got Ice Age. And I was like, "But Ice Age?"
I'm going to have ancestor age for too long, right? I know. I mean, that's good. All our elders are still dancing and staying, active, and that's good.
Heck yeah.
Wish we had more out there. Wish we had more to kind of start a pot up. Some of these guys need more comp.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Some of my elders need more comp. I know some of them complain, "Hey, you need to raise that age up some more." And so,
yeah,
I'll be saying, "Hey, you just need to bring it."
Well, heck,
I know some of them that are 60 and plus, they always say, "Hey, wait, why is it 55? You need to raise that to 60."
Yeah.
Dang, man, you might as well have 80 and up then. Well, I mean, really, back then, I remember some flyers. It was like from 18 to 79 or 18 to 80.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I kind of felt bad for the older guys.
Adults were 18 to 89 or 18 to 100. I'd see that sometimes. I'd be like, "Hey, man, an 80-year-old want to dance against a 19-year-old, 18-year-old?"
So let me ask him.
If it was Woodsy, he would have kicked your butt. Though.
Yeah, he would have. I would have just walked out, bowed out, just for respect.
Just based on style alone. I mean, I always call that attitude. I mean, man, now Woodsy had attitude.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't beat that.
so going back,
attitude, confidence.
Yeah, so going back, what you're watching on YouTube and stuff, there's got a bunch of these young guys out there and stuff like that, and kind of put them on blast. But as far as the new guys this new era, what you think of the new era? You got the Silas White Buffalo, you got you got the Schofield brothers, and you got the ones from up north. Man, those guys are just fast. What you think of that?
Yeah, man, like I said, I've been watching YouTube. I try to keep up on these young dancers, and that's actually the only. I'm gonna be honest. That's the only category I watch is just keep up on these young guys and see what they're doing, what kind of moves they're doing.
Yeah.
If they can, the thing I look for is if they can change up from one weekend to the next. So I see some of these dancers doing the same thing from one weekend to the next. It shouldn't be like that. They should bring something a little extra the next weekend. And maybe go back to what they did 2 weekends before.
You got that routine down.
Bring it. Yeah, I mean, break your routines a little bit. Show something else different. Brother Michael Roberts asked me and Joe and RG and Daryl Wildcat. We went down to his back when he had that contest down at Durant. We was judging. He brought the top 10.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Top 10. So he brought the top 10 Northern and the top 10 Southern in there. And it was awesome the way he had it set up because we was able to talk to the contestants before they competed, and I thought that was awesome. I told Michael that too. And then the first initial meeting before they started their getting dressed to go on stage and get ready, So of course, I was the youngest of the 4 judges, so they made me go first. But that's what I told them. I said, "I seen you boys, every one of you. I know some of y'all personally, some of y'all are brand new, but I know who you are because of your dancing. I watch YouTube. Thankful to YouTube." And people with cameras,
Heck yeah.
I still get to watch you in Canada at the spotlights and maybe some of these powwows that I can't get to, thankful to the internet that I can still watch y'all. So I already kind of have an idea how y'all dancing, tonight. Bring it a little bit different because there was a lot of money on the line that night.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of money. So you got a lot of money on it. So this is not a powwow. This is not anything. This is competition. Y'all gonna be bumping heads, hitting sticks, messing up muscles, it's cutthroat, it's all. So y'all gonna be battling each other and hating each other for about 2 hours, but after that, y'all gonna be brothers after that. Y'all gonna be appreciative of what you see, what you experienced, and If you got out danced, well, you got out danced.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
But what I'm looking for is, what I told him, what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see what else you can do.
Yeah.
I already seen what you can do, but what else can you do?
Yeah.
I know you got it in your repertoire. I know y'all practice. I know y'all work out. I know y'all do things in your garage or your patio or wherever it is y'all practice. And that's what I want to see. I want to see something different because you're going to get. We had Yellowhammer there that year.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get some good songs to dance to. You're not going to get these bullet songs. You're going to get some good songs to throw some moves out there. So really see some good dancing that night. It was awesome to witness that. And, but that's the main thing I see. Some of these dancers, young bucks, they're moving good. They're fast, and it's awesome. That's good to see. And some of these guys are still doing the same thing every weekend. So if there's one thing I want to put out there is, change the routine up just a little bit every weekend. Make somebody want to watch you instead of, he's going to do this, or he ends in the splits all the time, or he does this all the time.
I got you.
That thing,
Well, all you fancy dancers out there,
see something different.
Yeah. Well, all you fancy dancers out there, you heard it first. George Alexander.
I'm not the only one. Yeah, I'm not the only one that thinks like this. So that's kind of how, just like I mentioned earlier, you used to, if you put a silhouette of somebody back in the day, you would know who that was. You could pick it out. So, but then now these days, you put a silhouette on some of them, you'd be like, I think that's, that kind of thing, no disrespect, just being straight up. And that's the only way I am is being straight up.
Yeah.
So, but those young bucks are doing great. There's some good moves, good footwork, just, man, it's awesome. I love it. And the crowd gets into it, and these guys get the crowd into it, man. Yeah. That's good. And they keep winning, keep doing their thing, and I'm sitting here smiling, I can just see a couple of what I've seen just in the past year, watching these young men, and it's good. And, like Xavier and Silas and the Schofields, and there's a couple of them, young ones up there from Canada. They're doing great. And seen some out in Cali. I was head judge out at San Man this past September, and I've seen some new dancers out there.
Mm-hmm.
They look good. They look good. Some up and comings. So them guys better bring it out there. There's some guys coming up. So
yeah. So you heard it first out there, all you fancy dancers listening. World champion George Alexander is still watching every one of you guys on YouTube, and he wants you.
Absolutely, y'all under a microscope. For real.
Change it up. Don't be doing the same routine every weekend. That's what his words.
I know. Maybe we were all done that before. Maybe done the same moves and stuff. But if you really, really watch those old videos, especially RG, he really doesn't do. He really, really watch RG. Really watch him. Joe B, watch him, some of the, even Dwight, watch Dwight. He doesn't do that. Yeah, he has his favorite moves, he does, but still, the way he presents it, the way his routine is, the way he might, he changes it up still.
Yeah.
All of them do. They all change it a little bit to make it look a little bit different, even if it's like a, kind of like a magician, They show you one way, but it's really this way, Still, you still want your audience, you still want your whoever's watching you to want more.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everybody wants more. Another song.
Yeah. A lot of some of us dancing, no more.
Yeah, no more. Well, around here, I was growing up, they said, if you ain't got it in one song, you ain't got it. Really, that's really what it needs to be. If you can't show what you got in one song, then you don't got it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants another song. I said, well, I know a lot of these older guys would tell these young guys that would say that, they're standing up there's all kinds of things that are said in the lineup line. I know that's been brought up before.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
There's been arguments. There's been harsh words said. It's crazy sometimes, man. Someone needs to go live on that. Someone have their phone in the lineup sometime when there's an argument. When there's an argument going on, I guarantee you're gonna go viral.
Hey,
and it's honestly, it's just words. They don't hate each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. Just it's harmless. It's just banter. It's just in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
he can't dance. This guy's too old, or you're too young. You should have danced that first song.
Yeah.
I know you've heard it too.
Yeah, I have. I've
heard the same stuff.
There's some people. I ain't mention names, but hey, you know who
we could mention names. Yeah, we could mention names. But yeah, I mean, you could almost put a reality show on the lineup of a fancy dance. So.
Yeah, that would be a good reality show. War Dance Wars. Yeah. War Dance Wars. Well, hey, big brother.
It's got to be a more controversial title than that.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep thinking about it. I'll see what I can come up with. Well, hey, big brother.
You do that, let me know.
For real. Like I mentioned, it's always been a pleasure, dancing against you in the circle. We've always had that good camaraderie between us, and I'm always waiting.
It should be.
Yeah. And, like that offer's still out there. If there's anything I can do to help you out, if there's something I can sew for you, get you back out there, that door is open, like we've always had that good time each other, but, want to thank you, coming on the show, kind of giving your input, your 2 cents in there. Like I said, I look highly up to, you've always been that one person I've always, like, oh man, I kind of want to strive to be like you and stuff like that. And I appreciate all the time that you took out, when I was a young guy, that you kind of put me to the side and kind of talked to me. I meant a lot, you don't know it, but that really meant a lot. But I appreciate, coming on the show and, just being here for me, and appreciate everything you've done for me, man. But thank you, man, just coming on that show. And, like I said, I'll always be there for you and stuff like that, and with you, man.
Man, yeah, I'm definitely honored and blessed for you to think of me to ask me these questions, and we had a little bit of couple giggles and everything.
Heck yeah.
Makes me feel good, just your little words, expressions right there, and I've had a lot of, in my little age right now, I've had a lot of younger dancers just from around here, hit me up and need tips and advice and things, and I'm more than happy to help them. If anybody else wants to hit me up, I don't know how to get a hold of me other than just contacting you or the show, or
heck yeah.
I have an email. I got emails. You hit me up or whatever. Every time even when I was out at San Van, I had several little grandpas and uncles approach me everywhere I go. I always get some little older. Oh, my grandson adores you, or nephew, and we love the way you dance, It really sure makes me feel good, Like I said, I'm not well traveled, I'm basically but stuck in Oklahoma. But when I do go somewhere, if I compete, I do pretty good and play.
Yeah.
I know. My family's told me that. They said, man, if you wasn't working for UPS and be stuck in that brown truck, I know there'd have been a lot of different outcomes if you did hit the circuit.
I told you that a long time ago too.
I don't think about that. Yeah, you told me that. Michael Roberts has told me that. And he's Michael's even said, I'm glad you're working. So man, I don't think it like that.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the love. I appreciate all that. So man, we could sit here and talk shop about this all day long. We could talk some more if we want to.
Heck yeah. Appreciate it. But
this is awesome. But
I got one more question. So I forgot. I kind of asked that a minute ago, but we kind of got derailed and stuff. So how many titles you got from Ponkapaw now?
Oh yeah,